The Imperial scout ship emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the Sol system, its sleek black hull absorbing the distant sunlight. Captain Reed of the Earth Defense Force watched the unknown vessel on his command screen, his fingers drumming steadily on the armrest of his chair. The mysterious ship was exactly where they had predicted it would appear. Right on schedule, he muttered, glancing at the tactical display, showing the positions of Earth's hidden defense platforms scattered throughout the solar system. For 3 years, they had been preparing for this moment, ever since their deep space telescopes had detected the signs of an approaching civilization. The alien vessel moved cautiously, its sensors probing the seemingly empty space around it. Little did they know that hundreds of cloaked satellites tracked their every move. Earth had used these years wisely, building a web of defenses that stretched from Neptune's orbit to the asteroid belt. Inside the Imperial scout ship, Commander Bright of the Galactic Empire stood confidently on his bridge. His mission was simple: assess another primitive world for integration into the Empire. They had done this thousands of times before. The report showed a civilization that had barely reached its own moon. Surely they would be grateful for Imperial guidance and protection. "Begin standard scanning procedures," Bright ordered, his voice carrying the boredom of routine. "Let's see what level of development these humans have achieved." The first sign that something was different came when their scans hit an unexpected barrier. The ship's sensors couldn't penetrate past the outer solar system. Bright frowned, ordering a more powerful scan. That's when the first warning came. A clear, strong signal broadcast directly to their ship. "This is Admiral Thompson of Earth's Combined Space Force. You have entered protected space. Identify yourself immediately." The Imperial crew froze. This wasn't supposed to happen. Primitive worlds didn't detect their scouts, let alone challenge them. Before Bright could respond, his tactical officer shouted in alarm. "Commander, multiple defense platforms decloaking across the system. I'm detecting energy signatures unlike anything in our database. Around them, space seemed to come alive. Hundreds of satellite weapons appeared, their surfaces covered in strange, shifting patterns that somehow both absorbed and redirected light. Larger structures emerged from behind Mars and Jupiter's moons, space stations that had been hidden in plain sight." Bright struggled to maintain his composure. Impossible. Their technology level was assessed at pre-space civilization status just decades ago. The humans didn't wait for the Imperial ship to process this surprise. A small fleet of Earth vessels appeared from behind Neptune's largest moon. They were elegant but clearly built for war, their hulls bearing the combined flags of Earth's nations. "Imperial vessel," Admiral Thompson's voice came again. "Earth is neither seeking nor requiring Imperial oversight. We have monitored your empire's expansion for years. We know your methods. We reject them. This system is under humanity's protection. You have 30 minutes to leave or face consequences." Bright's hands gripped his command chair tightly. His empire had conquered 1,000 worlds, but none had ever been prepared like this. None had ever issued demands to them. The humans should have been easy prey. Instead, they had somehow hidden their true capabilities and prepared a welcome that turned the hunters into the hunted. "Launch our probe drones," Bright ordered, trying to gather at least some useful intelligence from this disaster. The moment the drones left the ship, they were caught in invisible fields that simply made them vanish. Earth's quantum capture nets, designed specifically for Imperial technology, worked perfectly. 20 minutes remaining. Came the human admiral's calm reminder. Bright knew when to retreat. His ship had recorded enough to show his superiors that this primitive world would require a very different approach. As they turned to leave, his sensors officer detected numerous small objects attaching themselves to their hull tracking devices, impossible to remove without destroying the ship. The Empire would know where this scout ship had been, and Earth wanted them to know they were watched. As the Imperial ship vanished back into hyperspace, Admiral Thompson allowed himself a small smile. The first contact had gone exactly as planned. Earth had shown its teeth without having to bite. "Send word to the Council," he ordered. Phase 1 is complete. Begin Phase 2 preparations. The Empire will return, and we'll be ready. On Earth, in cities across the globe, life continued as normal. The public didn't know how close they had come to being another conquered world. They didn't need to know. Not yet. Their governments and militaries had united in secret to protect them. And for now, that protection would remain invisible but absolute. The real test would come when the Empire returned with its fleet. But Earth would be ready. They always had been. 3 days after the Imperial scout ship's retreat, Earth's defense network detected unusual energy signatures. The Empire had left behind dozens of cloaked surveillance devices scattered throughout the solar system. Admiral Thompson stood in the Global Defense Council's underground chamber, addressing the world's military leaders. "They're watching us," he said, pointing to a holographic map showing the location of each Imperial device. "Just as we expected they would. Now it's time to send our real message." The Council had prepared for this moment. Rather than destroy the Imperial devices, they would use them to their advantage. Earth would show the Empire exactly what they wanted them to see. On the far side of the moon, Earth's largest shipyard hummed with activity. Military vessels moved in clear view of the Imperial sensors, each one larger and more impressive than the last. But these weren't Earth's real ships. They were decoys, designed to make the Empire think they knew Earth's true strength. "Begin the demonstration," Admiral Thompson ordered. The first phase started with a massive energy surge from Earth's quantum shield network. The surge was carefully calculated to seem like a test, one that would show incredible power, but also hint at weaknesses that didn't really exist. The Empire's hidden devices eagerly recorded everything. Commander Bright, now back at the Imperial capital, watched the incoming data with growing concern. "Their technology, it's advancing even as we watch," he reported to the Imperial War Council. "They're testing weapons we've never seen before." The War Council chamber fell silent as they watched recordings from their surveillance devices. Earth's ships performed maneuvers that seemed to defy physics, using technology that the Empire's best scientists struggled to understand. Back on Earth, Dr. Anna Wells, head of the Deception Division, monitored the transmission of false data. "They're receiving everything perfectly," she reported to Admiral Thompson. "Every fake weakness, every carefully crafted flaw in our defenses. They're logging it all." The Admiral nodded. "Good. Now for Phase 2. Earth's quantum communication system activated, broadcasting directly to every Imperial surveillance device simultaneously. The message was simple but powerful. "To the Galactic Empire, we have detected and tracked all 37 of your surveillance devices. We know you're watching. We want you to watch. Earth is not defenseless. Earth is not primitive. Earth is not your next conquest." The message continued, displaying recordings of Earth's ships destroying asteroids with weapons that seemed to bend reality itself. What the Empire didn't know was that these were carefully crafted illusions, designed to hide Earth's real capabilities. In the Imperial capital, alarms blared as the message played on every screen. The Empire's best code breakers had failed to prevent the broadcast. Worse, they couldn't stop it. Admiral Thompson's voice filled the Imperial Council chamber. "Your empire has conquered 1,000 worlds. You believe this makes you strong. We believe it makes you predictable. Every world you've taken followed the same pattern: scout ships, surveillance, then overwhelming force. Not this time." The message showed Earth's defense platforms activating, creating a shield that rippled across the solar system like a wave of liquid light. "This is a warning. Earth is protected. We do not want war, but we are ready for it. Any hostile action against Earth or its colonies will be met with force." To demonstrate their point, Earth activated its quantum field around one of the Imperial devices. The device simply ceased to exist, transformed into pure energy that dispersed harmlessly into space. The Empire scientists would spend months trying to understand how it was done. "The choice is yours," Admiral Thompson's message concluded. "Respect our independence, and we can have peace, challenge it, and learn why Earth remains free. In the Imperial capital, the War Council erupted into chaos. Some demanded immediate military action, while others urged caution. Their sensors showed Earth's defenses were formidable, but they had detected potential weaknesses, exactly the weaknesses Earth wanted them to see. Commander Bright watched the debate with growing unease. "They're not like the others," he warned. "They were ready for us. They're still ready for us." On Earth, Admiral Thompson ended the transmission. "Now we wait," he told the Council. "They'll either accept our warning, or—" He paused, looking at the holographic display of Earth's real defense network, hidden beneath layers of deception, "or they'll learn the hard way." The game of deception had begun. Earth had shown the Empire a fortress of steel and energy, while hiding the fact that their real strength lay in misdirection and strategy. The next move belonged to the Empire, but Earth held all the cards. Dr. Robert Miller hadn't slept in 2 days. The head of Earth's quantum shield research stood in his underground laboratory, watching as the latest test results appeared on his screens. Behind him, a small cube of dark matter floated in a containment field, its surface rippling like black water. "Run the test again," he ordered his team. They had to be certain. The Empire would return, and Earth's shields needed to be perfect. In orbit above Earth, Admiral Thompson watched as construction teams added the final pieces to the planetary defense grid. The network of satellites looked simple from the outside, plain metal boxes floating in space, but inside each one was technology that would change the course of the war to come. "Status report," he called over the command channel. "Quantum shield network is at 89% coverage." The response came back. "We'll hit 100% in 48 hours. The Empire won't find a single gap when they return." The Admiral nodded, but his attention was on another screen. Their deep space sensors had detected massive fleet movements in Imperial space. The Empire was gathering its forces, just as Earth had predicted. Down in Dr. Miller's lab, the dark matter cube suddenly pulsed with energy. The scientist rushed to his instruments, his exhaustion forgotten. "This is it," he shouted. "The quantum field is stable. Get me Admiral Thompson immediately." Minutes later, the Admiral's hologram appeared in the lab. Dr. Miller could barely contain his excitement as he explained. "We've done it, sir. The dark matter manipulation is working perfectly. When the Empire's ships fire their energy weapons at us, our shields won't just block them. They'll redirect the energy back at the attackers." "How long until we can deploy it?" Thompson asked. "We're installing the upgrades now. Every satellite in our defense network will have this capability within a week." The Admiral's expression remained serious. "We may not have a week. Our scouts report the Empire is gathering over 1,000 ships." Dr. Miller smiled. "That's the best part, sir. The more ships they bring, the stronger our defense becomes. Each attack will only make us harder to defeat." In another part of the facility, General Laura West oversaw the final combat simulations. Earth's pilots flew virtual missions against Imperial ships, practicing tactics that had never been used in space warfare before. "Remember," she told her pilots, "the Empire expects us to fight like they do. Head on, force against force. We won't give them what they expect. We'll use their own strength against them." The pilots had learned to fight in ways the Empire couldn't predict. They practiced complex maneuvers that seemed to break the laws of physics, made possible by Earth's new quantum technology. Meanwhile, in cities across Earth, life continued normally. People went to work, children attended school, and few knew how close they were to war. This was exactly as planned. Earth would face this threat without causing panic. Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, another team worked on Earth's secret weapon. Dr. Miller's quantum shields were just the first layer of defense. Here, engineers were building something the Empire couldn't possibly expect. "The quantum tunnel network is ready for testing," the project leader reported to Admiral Thompson. "When their fleet arrives, they'll find something very different from what their spies reported." The admiral stood in his command center, watching all these preparations come together. Earth had spent years getting ready for this moment. While the Empire thought they were dealing with a primitive civilization that had gotten lucky, humanity had been planning their defense since they first detected Imperial ships at the edge of their galaxy. "Sir," his communications officer called out, "we're detecting more Imperial probes trying to enter the system." "Let them come," Thompson replied. "Let them see our preparations. Everything they see is exactly what we want them to see." Dr. Miller's voice came over the command channel. "Admiral, the first wave of quantum shield upgrades is complete. Should we test them?" "Do it." Across Earth's orbit, hundreds of satellites activated simultaneously. A web of invisible energy spread between them, creating a barrier that could turn any attack back on its source. The Empire's probes recorded everything, sending data back to their masters. "Now we wait," Admiral Thompson said quietly. "They'll come soon, thinking they know what they're facing." He looked at the hidden displays showing Earth's real defenses, the ones no Imperial probe had detected. They have no idea what's really waiting for them. The next few days would determine the fate of humanity. But Earth was ready. They had planned for this moment for years, and now all that planning would be put to the test. The Imperial fleet appeared at the edge of the solar system in a massive flash of light. 100 warships, each bigger than Earth's largest cities, emerged from hyperspace. Their black hulls blocked out the stars behind them. Admiral Thompson stood calmly on the bridge of Earth's command station. "Right where we expected them," he said quietly. "Begin Operation Mirror." The Empire's ships moved forward in perfect formation. On their command ship, Imperial Commander Bright watched the approach. "No sign of the human fleet," he reported to his superiors. "Their defense platforms are visible but not powered up. They're trying to appear weak." "Launch the first attack wave," the Imperial War Council ordered. "Show them the price of defiance." 100 energy beams shot from the Imperial ships, each powerful enough to destroy a small moon. They streaked toward Earth's defense platforms, lighting up space like new stars. Dr. Miller watched from his lab as the attack approached. "Quantum shields responding perfectly," he reported. 3, 2, 1. The moment the Imperial weapons hit Earth's defensive network, something impossible happened. The energy beams didn't explode. They didn't destroy anything. Instead, they curved like rivers of light, flowing through the quantum shield network. "What's happening?" Commander Bright demanded, watching his fleet's attack disappear into the human defenses. "Where did the energy go?" He got his answer seconds later. Earth's defense platforms glowed bright blue, then redirected every energy beam back at the Imperial fleet. But the returned attacks weren't just flying back. They were moving in new patterns, splitting and combining in ways that Imperial shields had never been designed to handle. "Evasive action," Bright shouted, but it was too late. 20 Imperial ships were hit by their own weapons, their shields failing against the transformed energy. They didn't explode, they simply shut down, their systems overloaded by the quantum-modified attacks. "Now," Admiral Thompson ordered, "show them our fleet." Space seemed to ripple around the Imperial ships as Earth's real fleet appeared. They had been there all along, hidden by technology the Empire had never seen. Unlike the decoy ships the Empire had observed during their surveillance, these vessels were smaller, faster, and built for a type of warfare the Empire had never encountered. The Earth ships didn't attack head-on. Instead, they moved like dancers, weaving between the Imperial vessels. Each time an Imperial ship fired, the Earth vessel would seem to fade away, letting the attack pass through where they had been. "Impossible," an Imperial officer shouted. "Their ships are phase-shifting. They're moving in and out of normal space." Commander Bright watched in horror as his mighty fleet was pulled apart by an enemy they couldn't properly fight. The humans weren't trying to destroy them. They were systematically disabling every ship, using the Empire's own energy weapons against them. Their technology, he realized too late. Everything we saw in our surveillance was a lie, a carefully crafted deception to make us attack exactly like this. Admiral Thompson sent a message to the remaining Imperial ships. This is your only warning. Your weapons cannot harm us. Your shields cannot stop us. Retreat now. In the Imperial fleet, panic was spreading. 40 ships were now dead in space, their crews alive but helpless. The rest found their weapons unusable. Firing them only made the humans stronger. Full retreat, Commander Bright ordered, his voice heavy with defeat. Back to Imperial space. The remaining Imperial ships turned and fled, leaving their disabled companions behind. As they vanished into hyperspace, Earth's ships approached the stranded Imperial vessels. Begin rescue operations, Admiral Thompson ordered. Show them how Earth treats defeated enemies. To the surprise of the Imperial crews, the humans didn't take them prisoner. Instead, they helped repair the disabled ships, provided supplies, and then allowed them to return home. It was a display of mercy that would confuse the Empire more than any weapon could. In his lab, Dr. Miller smiled at the test results. The quantum shields performed even better than expected, he told Admiral Thompson. But they'll be back, won't they? Yes, Thompson replied, watching the disabled Imperial ships limp away. But now they know they can't beat us with brute force. Next time, they'll try something different. Earth had won its first major battle against the Empire, but everyone knew this was just the beginning. The Empire wouldn't accept defeat easily. They would return with new tactics, new weapons, and a burning desire for revenge. But Earth would be ready. They always were. The Imperial War Council chamber had never been so quiet. Grand Admiral Marcus stood before the Emperor himself, showing recordings of the battle against Earth. The massive screen displayed Earth's ships dancing through their fleet, Imperial weapons being turned against their own ships, and the humiliating defeat that followed. Impossible, one council member whispered. No civilization could advance this quickly. They were primitive just decades ago. Grand Admiral Marcus stepped forward. Unlike many Imperial officers, he had studied Earth's history carefully. They weren't primitive, he said. They were preparing. Everything they showed us before the battle was a lie. Every weakness we detected was a trap. The Emperor, a tall figure wrapped in ceremonial robes, leaned forward on his throne. Explain. Earth's strategy was perfect, Marcus continued. They let us think we were watching them secretly. They showed us exactly what they wanted us to see. Then they turned our own power against us. In another part of the Imperial Palace, Commander Bright faced a military tribunal. He stood straight, showing no fear as he gave his report. The humans could have destroyed our ships, he explained. Instead, they disabled them. Then they helped repair them. They'd wanted us to bring back proof of their power and their mercy. The tribunal members whispered among themselves. In 1,000 years of Imperial history, no one had ever defeated their fleet so completely. No one had ever shown mercy to defeated Imperial forces. Back in the War Council, debates rage. We must send the main fleet, one general demanded. Crush them with overwhelming force, and have 10,000 ships disabled instead of just 40. Grand Admiral Marcus countered. They feed on our energy weapons. The bigger our attack, the stronger they become. The Emperor raised his hand for silence. What do you suggest, Grand Admiral? Negotiate, Marcus said firmly. Earth has proven they can defend themselves. They haven't attacked us. They haven't demanded territory. They only want to be left alone. Angry shouts filled the chamber. The Empire doesn't negotiate. We conquer. The Empire has never faced anyone like Earth. Marcus replied calmly. Their technology is beyond ours. Their strategy is perfect. And now, he pointed to new data streaming in. They're sharing their defensive technology with other worlds. This news hit the Council like a thunderbolt. Reports were coming in from across the galaxy. Earth had begun helping other planets build quantum shields. Their mercy wasn't just kindness, it was a strategy. They're creating a network of protected worlds, Marcus explained, each one using technology that turns our weapons against us. Soon, our usual methods of conquest will be useless. In the military tribunal, Commander Bright shared his own conclusion. Earth doesn't want to fight us, but they're ready for us, and they're smarter than us. Every move we make is what they expect. The Emperor stood, silencing all debate. For the first time in Imperial history, they faced a choice: adapt or fail. Perhaps, the Emperor said slowly, it is time for the Empire to consider a new approach. But not everyone agreed. In secret chambers throughout the Imperial Palace, Warhawks plotted. They couldn't accept change. They wouldn't accept defeat. If the Empire wouldn't crush Earth, they would find another way. Grand Admiral Marcus knew about these plots. As he left the council chamber, he sent a coded message to his own secret network. If some in the Empire wanted to continue the fight, others would work to stop them. Earth's example had shown that there could be another way. On Earth, Admiral Thompson received the reports of the Imperial political chaos with satisfaction. They're doing exactly what we expected, he told his staff. Their empire is fracturing over how to deal with us. Will they attack again? Someone asked. Some of them will try, Thompson replied. The smart ones will seek peace. Our job now is to be ready for both. Earth had won more than a battle. They had shaken the foundation of an empire that had stood for 1,000 years. Now they had to prepare for what would come next, whether it was peace or a final desperate attack from those who couldn't accept change. The real war wasn't over. It was just changing shape. The Imperial Warhawks made their move at midnight. They launched 3,000 ships secretly gathered from across the empire. Not even the Emperor knew of this attack. The Warhawks had decided. If they couldn't have Earth, they would destroy it. Admiral Thompson was sleeping when the alert came. Multiple hyperspace signatures detected, the computer announced. Estimated 3,000 plus vessels. In his lab, Dr. Miller watched the sensors light up. They're coming in from all directions, he reported. They're trying to surround the whole solar system. Just as we expected, Thompson said, now fully awake and at his command post. Begin Operation Endgame. The Imperial fleet emerged from hyperspace in a sphere around Earth's solar system. Their ships filled space like a swarm of angry wasps. Leading them was General Stone, the most aggressive of the Warhawks. No mercy this time, Stone commanded. Fire everything we have. Overwhelm their defenses with sheer power. Thousands of energy beams shot toward Earth simultaneously. The attack was so massive it looked like a solid wall of light. General Stone smiled, certain that no defense could stop such power. He was wrong. As the energy beams hit Earth's quantum shield network, something new happened. The shields didn't just redirect the energy, they absorbed it. Dr. Miller's latest upgrade was working perfectly. Energy absorption at 100%, he reported. Beginning conversion process. The quantum shields began to glow with stored power. All around the solar system, Earth's defense platforms hummed with captured energy. The Empire had just given Earth's defenders all the power they needed. Impossible, General Stone shouted as his fleet's massive attack disappeared into Earth's defenses. Fire again. Fire everything. The Empire's ships launched their second wave. More energy beams, more missiles, more weapons than had ever been fired in Imperial history, and Earth's defenses swallowed them all. Then Earth revealed its secret weapon, the quantum tunnel network, hidden beneath the peaceful-looking defense platforms. Activated. Tunnels of bent space-time opened between Imperial ships. Suddenly, the Empire's fleet was firing at itself, their shots emerging from unexpected directions. Stop firing, Stone ordered, but it was too late. The chaos spread through the Imperial fleet as their own weapons turned against them. Ships tried to dodge, but only flew into more quantum tunnels. Admiral Thompson watched calmly. Send the message, he ordered. Earth's broadcast reached every Imperial ship. Your weapons make us stronger. Your attacks only hurt yourselves. This is your final warning. Retreat now, or we will end this." General Stone ignored the warning. "Continue the attack. We cannot lose to primitives." But his officers had seen enough. All across the Imperial fleet, ships began powering down their weapons. Some turned to flee. Others simply waited, refusing to fire again. "Traitors!" Stone screamed. "I order you to." He never finished. His own ship's crew had finally had enough. They removed him from command, sending their surrender signal to Earth. Admiral Thompson nodded to Dr. Miller. "Show them what we could have done at any time." The quantum network pulsed once. In an instant, every Imperial ship's main computer displayed their own engine codes, proof that Earth could have shut them down whenever they wanted. "We could have destroyed you," Thompson's message continued. "We could have taken your ships. Instead, we offer peace. Real peace, not submission. The choice is yours." One by one, the Imperial ships stood down. Some retreated. Others requested permission to land and discuss terms. The great Imperial fleet, meant to crush Earth once and for all, instead became the witnesses to the end of the Empire's age of conquest. In his lab, Dr. Miller looked at the energy readings from the quantum shields. "We absorbed enough power from their attack to run Earth's defenses for 100 years, he said with a smile. "Send it to the new defense network instead," Thompson ordered. "Help the other worlds protect themselves." The final assault had failed, but more importantly, it had shown everyone, Earth, the Empire, and watching worlds across the galaxy, that the age of conquest was over. A new age was beginning, and Earth would help lead the way. 1 year after the failed Imperial assault, the Great Hall of the newly formed Galactic Council buzzed with activity. Representatives from 100 worlds gathered in what was once the Imperial Palace. Earth's Admiral Thompson stood at the podium, addressing the assembled delegates. "Today marks the first anniversary of the Treaty of Soul," he began. 1 year since Earth helped create something new, a galaxy where all worlds can choose their own path. In the audience sat Grand Admiral Marcus, now the leader of the reformed Empire worlds. Next to him were representatives from planets that had once been Imperial colonies. They were all equals now, each world protected by quantum shield technology shared by Earth. Dr. Miller sat in the Earth delegation, his quantum shield designs now helping protect dozens of worlds. "Every planet that wants defense gets it," he had insisted when writing the treaty. No world should live in fear of conquest ever again. The changes across the galaxy had been dramatic. Without the threat of Imperial conquest, worlds began trading freely. Cultural exchange flourished. The Empire's former colonies discovered they had more to offer than just resources to be taken. The galaxy believed that power came from conquest, Thompson continued. Earth showed that real strength comes from defense, from protection, from helping others stand on their own. He gestured to the screens showing new quantum shield installations rising on worlds across the galaxy. Each one represented a planet that would never again fear invasion. Commander Bright, now working with Earth's diplomatic corps, smiled as he watched. He remembered how he had once thought Earth would be an easy conquest. Now he helped other worlds understand Earth's philosophy. Peace through strength, victory through wisdom. "But our work isn't finished," Thompson reminded the Council. "There are still worlds that need protection. Still people who think conquest is the only way. Earth stands ready to help any world that wants to be free." In Earth's orbit, the defense platforms still stood watch. But they were different now. Not just defenders of one world, but training centers where other planets sent their people to learn. Earth had become a teacher to the galaxy. The former Imperial capital had changed too. Where once there were monuments to conquest, now stood centers of learning. The Empire's vast libraries, once restricted to the elite, were open to all. Knowledge flowed freely between worlds. Some asked why Earth shared its technology instead of using it to build our own empire. Thompson said, "The answer is simple. We remember being alone. We remember preparing for invasion, not knowing if we would survive. We chose to make sure no other world would feel that fear. Dr. Miller's team had grown. Scientists from 100 worlds now worked together, combining their knowledge to create new defenses, new ways to protect life. The quantum shields were just the beginning. The galaxy is changing, Thompson continued. The age of empires is over. The age of cooperation has begun. Earth's message remains the same. We stand ready to help any world that wants to stand with us. In the audience, representatives from former enemy worlds sat together, planning joint projects. Worlds that had once fought now traded technology and culture. The galaxy was healing. But we haven't forgotten how to defend ourselves, Thompson reminded them. Earth's fleet still patrolled space, now joined by ships from allied worlds. They protected trade routes and responded to calls for help from any world in need. As the session ended, Admiral Thompson met with his old friend Dr. Miller. They stood by a window overlooking the city that had once been the heart of an empire of conquest. "Did you ever think it would end like this?" Miller asked. "Not an ending," Thompson replied. "A beginning. Earth showed the galaxy another way. Now we all move forward together." Below them, delegations from 100 worlds mingled freely. Former enemies spoke as friends. Scientists shared discoveries. Artists shared creations. This was Earth's real victory, not defeating an empire, but helping create something better. The galaxy had learned what Earth knew all along. True strength lies not in conquering others, but in helping them grow strong themselves. And somewhere out there, other civilizations were emerging, looking to the stars with hope and fear. When they reached space, they wouldn't find an empire waiting to conquer them. They would find Earth, ready to help them join a free galaxy.